Giving everyone cameras has been both a blessing and a curse. On one hand, we have to look at a lot more selfies than we ever needed to see, but on the other hand, it has allowed us to witness the beauty of the world around us even when it's strange. From the biggest animal on the planet to massive sea creatures, let's take a look at 20 giant creatures caught on camera. Number 20. Giant barrel jellyfish. Whenever you hear of a new species being discovered underwater, they're almost never found off the coast of England, right? It just doesn't seem to happen that way. But guess what? Stereotypes and presumptions were made to be broken. So yeah, let's do that. Somehow, against all the expectations, marine biologist Lizzie Daly and her crew discovered this huge giant barrel jellyfish off the coast of Cornwall. Now, the usual jellyfish is on average around 16 inches, but this one, according to Daly, was the size of her body, making it the largest jellyfish species in British waters. And if you're one of those people who get anxious about dying or even a little pain from the sting of a jellyfish, you can rest easy. It turns out that the sting of the giant barrel jellyfish is harmless. That said, it's really not a good idea to try and find out. It's funny for the rest of us, but don't do it. For now, it seems like this is one of the only specimens to have been discovered off the coast of England. But then, I guess British weather being what it is, the thrill of jumping from the cold, rainy land of England into the cold water of England, not appealing for anybody. Number 19. Massive octopus attack. People seem to react to an octopus in one of two ways, wonder or terror. Probably because these things, while curious looking, are also kind of freaky, right? Now, imagine how freaky they would be when they attack you in the middle of the ocean floor. That's scary. In 2016, this diver was busy exploring the ocean floor in Primorsky Krai, Russia, when he stumbled upon a massive octopus. Naturally, he tried to get some close-up footage, but the octopus didn't want his privacy invaded. After all, octopuses are notoriously shy. So what is an unhappy octopus to do but attack the paparazzo invading his personal space? Well, obviously, it's going to just blindly attack. Now, the octopus quickly wraps its arms around the diver and his equipment, but the diver does all that he can to get away, eventually freeing himself of the octopus entirely. Unfortunately, he loses his camera rig in the process. It's bittersweet, obviously, that the guy had to lose his camera in order to keep his arms, but I guess that's what you get when you just barge into another animal's space with a camera and start attacking wildly. Somebody's gonna get hurt, and my money's on the one with the most hands. Number 18. Massive, unidentified sea monster. It's comforting to know that even scientists who have been in their jobs for decades can get confused by nature sometimes. You find a new species and just think, huh, and they seem to react in the same way, so that's fun. Sometimes, a strange, billowing deep-sea creature that unexpectedly floated into view on an oil rig camera left ocean experts baffled. But what was it? The marine biologists in 2014 finally identified a mysterious sea creature that had been spotted 5,000 feet deep in the Gulf of Mexico in 2012. A precise glimpse of a hexagonal pattern on its billowing skin allowed scientists to correctly identify the creature as a huge jellyfish. The rarely seen species, known as deep Steria reticulum or placental jellyfish, which can grow to about 2 feet wide, was identified using old dive notes from the 1960s and 1980s. The unusual shape of this jellyfish, which is most commonly found in the Arctic, led many people to suggest that the gelatinous blob could actually be a whale placenta, which would be a very different story and not necessarily a pleasant one. But now, my friends, this is definitely a jellyfish. We checked at least 8 times. Number 17. Queensland Grouper. Modern technology is a phenomenal thing. We're now able to take cameras underwater to space, pretty much anywhere you could imagine, really. But sadly, it's only something that humans can enjoy, and that really sucks for the curious little fishies who just want to take photos all of their own. This Queensland grouper felt some real FOMO when he happened to spot a bunch of marine biologists in the ocean. They were taking photos, videos, and readings of the incredible animals and their environment on the ocean floor in Australia. But then along comes this huge, 660-pound Queensland grouper, wanting to know what the heck is going on. When he notices the camera, he decides he wants to try it out for himself. So obviously, he just steals it. I mean, what are they gonna do? Chase you down and get it back? Yeah, probably. But they have to catch you first. This is an absolutely massive fish. There's no doubt about it. It's pretty amazing footage, all things considered. And while the grouper was clearly only in it for the dead tuna attached to the camera, you can only wonder what kind of incredible images the grouper would capture if a grouper could capture images. It's not quite the tongue twister I wanted it to be, but I'm fine with that. Number 16. Indonesian Creature. When we hear about things washing up on international beaches, it's usually bad news. Garbage, trash, pollution, and occasionally big, unexplained animals. We have one of those here today, but don't expect any kind of answer. Many maritime biology experts have been asked for their opinion, and it seems like it would have been more helpful to ask a bunch of builders. On the Indonesian island of Seram, a 37-year-old resident discovered what looked at first like a boat washed up on the beach. When they got closer, it was something else entirely, a giant, unidentified sea creature. Scientists speculate that the creature died at least 3 days before being washed up onto the shore, but nobody knows what it is. Lab tests were quickly organized to get to the bottom of the mystery, while the beach became a popular tourist attraction. Well, I guess that's one way to generate interest in your small community. One animal expert thought the creature was a dolphin but soon realized it had fur. One of the defining features a dolphin does not have. Honestly, this whole thing has just given me more confidence that I could easily pretend to be a marine biologist. Seems like you just have to point at stuff and guess. Now it's time for today's topic. In May 2025, a BBC Earth documentary crew filming off the coast of Guadalupe Island, Mexico, made what may be the most astonishing shark discovery in decades. While shooting for their new underwater series Blue Frontier, the crew deployed professional cage divers to film great whites during peak activity. What they encountered wasn't just another apex predator. It was a monster. Emerging from the depths, a massive great white shark estimated at over 27 feet in length slowly approached the dive cage. Its girth was unlike any shark previously filmed, and its body bore markings suggesting decades of survival in deep, high-pressure environments. Even veteran diver Tom Kessler, who's filmed sharks for over 20 years, was left stunned. This thing wasn't just big, it felt ancient. The crew's high-resolution footage showed unique scarring along the shark's flanks and dorsal, leading some marine biologists to believe this could be a new subspecies or even a long-rumored deep-sea variant of Carcharodon carcharias. The footage is now under review by marine scientists at the University of Plymouth. The shark circled once, brushed the cage without aggression, then vanished below, leaving only questions. If this is the largest great white ever caught on camera, what else might still be lurking beneath? Number 15. Giant Orfish. Have you ever seen an Orfish? Unless you're a big-time fishing fan, the answer is probably going to be no. These fish are, after all, among the rarest in the world. They're incredibly hard to find and even harder to see with their own eyes. Well, because we're here for the people, we're going to show you one right now. Hopefully, you're all ready. While out kayaking in Baja, Mexico, these guests were lucky enough to film 2 giant Orfish in the water. They were estimated to be around 15 feet each, which is insane. That's about as long as the Stonehenge Monument. Just take that in for a sec. This is a swimming Stonehenge monument. Well, no, it's a fish, but that would be cool though, right? A big old stone swimming through the water. Alright, I can take a hint. I'll stop. Stonehenge or not, the giant Orfish is a fascinating animal. It's almost a shame that it's not seen all that often because it's just so visually interesting and beautiful that it would be nice to see it all the time. But hey, we get to see visually beautiful things all the time. I look at myself in the mirror every day. Number 14. Tortoises. The classic kid story, the hare and the tortoise. The tortoise wins the race not by being fast but by taking his time to get to the end. Well, not every tortoise would win the race that way. Some of them would genuinely race to the end with some speed. You just need the right motivation. It may be a common belief that tortoises are slow animals, but you put food in front of them, and they can move. Aldabra giant tortoises from the Seychelles are among the largest tortoise species in the world, with males reaching over 4 feet in length. Females are much smaller but still pretty big. This Aldabra giant tortoise is native to Aldabra Atoll, part of the Seychelles Islands off the coast of Madagascar. So let's meet him. Tank, the tortoise nearest to the camera, weighs in at more than 550 pounds and is 56 years old. Orville, next to him, is 114 years old and moves pretty quick as well for a tortoise of his age. And Samson, who is already on the food pile practically inhaling lettuce, is 31 years old. So we're looking at a combined age of 201. Well, they look good for their age, at least. I'm not sure how tortoises manage to stave off the curse of aging, but I'd very much like to know their secret. I think I'd struggle with a leaf-only diet, but hey, I'll give it my best. Number 13. Huge sunfish. How big does a fish have to be before we consider it giant? Because I'm pretty confident that this next one should and will be considered giant. In fact, I'd bet money on it if I weren't talking to millions of people around the world. I mean, I'm confident I'd win, but, do I want to risk going bankrupt? I'd rather not. A giant sunfish measuring 10.4 feet long and 9.5 feet wide was found tangled in tuna fishing nets in the Mediterranean. When attempting to measure it, the fish almost broke a 1-ton scale, which is certainly a relatable feeling. The finding was quickly deemed a record find for Ceuta, a Spanish autonomous city on the north coast of Africa. One marine biologist, Enrique Ostel, said he had heard of such giant sunfish only in books. Interesting books you're reading there, buddy. You should try some Stephen King to, balance it out. I'm just gonna say it. This sunfish officially crosses the line to be considered giant. You can't have a 10-foot-long sunfish and not consider it humongous. It just can't be done. Pretty sure that in some cultures we all have to worship the fish as our new ruler now. And honestly, I'm not opposed to the idea. The fish has a royal quality about it, you know. Number 12. White lion. Lions are the king of the jungle for a reason. They're majestic, incredible creatures. But I can honestly say that in the period I've done this job, I don't think I've ever seen a more majestic and incredible lion than the one I'm about to show you. Yeah, I'm dead serious. This South African white lion is one of the biggest lions I think I've ever seen. I mean, the guy was bigger than the car. Just from the size alone, he must be over 550 pounds or more, which easily makes him one of the most formidable opponents in the wild. But come on, all that weight aside, don't you think this lion is one of the most majestic you've ever seen? It's almost graceful in the way it just kind of struts, like he knows he could just destroy anything and anyone he happens to look at. I respect him, but I also fear him. I feel the same way about the Rock. This lion is almost definitely one of the biggest lions in the world. I have no statistics on hand to back it up, but come on, Guinness Book of World Records, you guys have to give me something to work with on this one. He's bigger than a car. Number 11. Amore Tigers. Of all the species of tiger in the world, the Amore tiger may well be one species you're not all that familiar with. And there's a very understandable, albeit sad, reason for that. The Amore tiger was once found all over Russia, northern China, and the Korean peninsula, but by the 1940s, hunting had driven the Amore tiger to near extinction in its native habitat. But conservation efforts undertaken by Russia helped preserve the subspecies, a development repeated across the globe with similarly threatened cat species. In the 1980s, the Amore tiger population had decreased to around 500 individuals. Although poaching increased after the collapse of the Soviet Union, conservation efforts by many partners have kept the population stable at around 540 animals. It's not a lot, obviously, but it's enough to keep the species going. The tiger's habitat is now restricted to the Sikhotalin range in the Primorsky and Khabarovsk provinces of the Russian Far East. These tigers have large home ranges, as they must search over large areas to find food due to low prey densities. They represent the largest unfragmented tiger population in the world. So yes, if you've never heard of the Amore tiger, there's your reason why. But given that they've come back from the brink of death, you definitely should know them. Number 10. Brahma chickens. If you're not a farmer, you're probably not going to know all that much about the Brahma chicken. Well, that sucks. And it sucks because these aren't your usual chickens. These are often referred to as the teddy bear of the farmyard. Yeah, now you're interested, eh? Brahma chickens have 3 features that set them apart from most other breeds. Their enormous eyes, feathered legs and feet that look like pants, and their gentle temperament. That gentleness is what makes them so great for backyard chicken keepers looking for personality in their flock. But to go back to that first part, yeah, they're big. They're huge, in fact, with males often reaching a size of around 12 pounds in total. That's a huge size for a chicken, and it's why they're known as one of the largest chicken breeds in the world. Thanks to their uniquely dense feathering, they even seem much bigger than they really are. I guess it's like when men start padding their clothing to look bulkier, but with chickens. Actually, I guess you could describe both of them as chickens if you're brave enough. Spoiler alert, I'm not. Number 9. Hairy blob. As we all know by now, the internet is a strange place. You wake up one day, check the news, and discover that there's some weird, hairy thing found on a beach in some other part of the world. But what is it? And should we be scared? We have the answers. The internet was gobsmacked by a mysterious, hairy-looking sea creature that had washed up on a shore in the Philippines. According to National Geographic, the blob measured about 20 feet long and weighed more than 4,000 pounds. But you better abandon your conspiracy theories now, friends. A team of investigators from Cagansilo, Palawan, where the creature was discovered, unanimously determined that it was a decomposing whale and nothing more. Sorry about that. They sent a sample specimen for testing to determine the exact species and cause of death. Experts find the weird blob is probably a whale and not some strange, otherworldly being, largely because that weird hair is actually muscle fibers. That's disappointing, I know. Could have been so weird and intriguing if it was some kind of alien creature or even just a strange new species we'd never seen before. But now, my friends, sadly, it's just another big old whale. Number 8. Giant squid. Decades ago, it was almost impossible to actually get even a photograph of a giant squid. Seriously, these animals, despite their huge size, are so shy that they're rarely, if ever, seen. But thanks to the wonders of technology, we're now able to see them closer than ever before. This footage may actually be the best footage of a giant squid yet. Most of the time, giant squid footage is captured after the animals are already dead, making them significantly easy to photograph. but this one is very clearly alive. So how on earth is it possible that they were able to get such a clear, close-up footage of this incredible creature? Pure luck, I'd imagine. It seems as if the squid is in shallower water than usual, so it's likely that this poor guy is sick or wounded. But either way, it's a really impressive sight. In fact, it's practically unheard of to find one in such shallow waters. Whichever diver had the good fortune to see one this up close is very lucky, that's for sure. Now, let's just hope we don't have any Godzilla-style nuclear incidents because, good lord, do we not need a giant, building-sized squid causing havoc on our planet. Number 7. Blue whale. Next, we're going to talk in our giant animal adventure by heading down under the sea. But as far as we know, we're not going to see any mermaids or singing crabs, so might want to just get those expectations in check. Instead, we're checking in with one of the biggest animals on the planet, the blue whale. These enormous marine mammals are the rulers of the ocean. Their tongues alone can weigh as much as an elephant, their hearts as much as an automobile. But whales reach such monumental proportions on a diet of tiny shrimp-like animals called krill. A single adult blue whale consumes about 4 tons of this seafood delicacy daily. Feeding by expanding pleated skin on their throat and belly, they then use their massive tongue to force water out through the thin, overlapping baleen plates. All the leftover krill are then swallowed. It's not a fun time for them. Considering that they only eat very tiny animals, it's incredible that blue whales can grow to this size. But I guess that's the result of eating a lot of food for every single meal. You eat 4 tons of food every day, you're probably going to be the size of a small house. Number 6. Ocean blob. A diver's life is a strange one. You spend most your life far beneath the surface, exploring animals that most of the world will never see, and then they just kind of move on to the next thing. It's all very weird. But then they find something like this, and it gets weirder. Divers exploring the ocean off the coast of Turkey happen to find a mysterious, translucent blob in the middle of the water. No matter how close they got, they just couldn't seem to work out what the hell they were looking at. Was it a bubble? An animal? A nest? Nobody knows. But some experts have come to believe that the giant blob is most likely some kind of big mass of squid eggs, maybe from a red flying squid. The phenomenon is not new, with another specimen having been discovered in 2008, but it's just as fascinating. You're looking at a blob of millions of baby squid inside. That's pretty wild. And again, for a diver, that's a weekday. They live for this kind of thing. It's the whole reason they put up with swimming directly into trash. You have to swim into a bunch of plastic bags before you can find a nest of squid eggs. Number 5. Giant manta rays. It's a strange impulse in humans that we want to see giant animals hung up as tourist attractions. But still, we continue to do it. I don't think I have to explain what happened to these 2 giant manta rays. Humans just thought they deserved to be hung up instead of freely living their lives in their underwater home. These 2 giant manta rays were caught by one fisherman fishing off the coast of Karnataka, India. They're said to weigh around 1,653 and 550 pounds. I can't even begin to imagine how hard it must be to reel those guys in, let alone hang them up in front of the world. This fisherman must be built like Popeye or something. Maybe he brought a crane with him as part of his fishing equipment. I have no idea. Maybe we'll never know. Manta rays are famously one of the most peaceful and quiet animals in the open ocean. They have no animosity or hostility toward humans, which only makes this even more cruel and unpleasant. But hey, that's just the human way, isn't it? Take whatever you need from the animal kingdom and move on without much thought. Number 4. Deep blue. Just to riff off of a question I asked earlier, how big does a shark have to be before we panic and close off all the beaches? Asking for a friend. And that friend is me, because this next shark we're going to meet is truly a giant, and she has a really adorable name which honestly brings me no comfort. The footage shows a 22-foot-long great white shark, believed to be the largest ever caught on camera. Her name is Deep Blue, and when the video first came out showing her sniffing around caged divers off the coast of Mexico, the internet went wild. Experts later chimed in to add some details to the footage, explaining that Deep Blue is estimated to be at least 50 years old, and she looks very good for her age. Great white sharks like Deep Blue are apex predators, sitting at the very top of the ocean food chain, and their size and power make them essential for maintaining marine ecosystems. Despite their fearsome reputation, great whites are not mindless killers. They are highly intelligent and curious animals, often investigating their surroundings before deciding whether to attack. Deep Blue's massive size is likely due to her age and the abundance of prey in her habitat, which includes seals, sea lions, and other marine mammals. Female great whites tend to grow larger than males, and Deep Blue's size suggests she may have given birth to many pups over her lifetime. The footage also revealed distinctive markings on her body, which researchers use to identify and track individual sharks. Conservationists have pointed out that sharks like Deep Blue are critical to ocean health, but they face threats from overfishing, habitat loss, and climate change. Seeing a shark of her size alive and thriving is a rare and awe-inspiring reminder of the importance of protecting these incredible creatures. That said, I'd rather not be submerged in a cage when she's sniffing around. Good Lord. Deep Blue is a beautiful animal, there's no doubt about it, but it would be a lie to suggest that a giant 20-foot-long great white is not intimidating. It's like Jaws on acid. The only way it could be any scarier is if the shark had laser eyes and a pistol. Number 3. Huge coconut crabs. Coconut crabs are among the most fascinating in the world. Most of the crabs we tend to think of are bright red, Sebastian-type things. But my friends, there are so many other kinds of crabs out there just waiting to be seen with your own eyes. One of those? The coconut crab. Here in the Ascension Islands, you can find some of the world's largest crabs, and that includes the coconut crab. These crabs can grow up to 3 feet in length and weigh as much as 9 pounds, making them the largest terrestrial arthropods on the planet. Their powerful claws are strong enough to crack open coconuts, which is how they got their name, and they've even been known to lift objects weighing up to 60 pounds. Coconut crabs are also excellent climbers, often scaling trees to forage for food or to escape predators. Despite their intimidating size, they are surprisingly shy and will retreat into their burrows or under rocks if they feel threatened. Their diet consists mainly of fruits, nuts, and seeds, but they are opportunistic scavengers and have been observed feeding on carrion or even smaller animals. The crabs play an important role in their ecosystem by helping to disperse seeds and recycle nutrients. Their unique adaptations and behaviors make them a favorite subject for researchers and nature enthusiasts alike. Thanks to the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, these creatures have been incredibly well preserved to ensure they can be harvested sustainably. In fact, many of the people that visit take part in coconut crab catching, the effort to catch the crabs before releasing them back into the wild. Sure, some people go on to cook the crabs for their own purposes, but most people actually don't. It's like fishing. The act is more fun than the murdering. That said, some people will be slightly concerned by the sight of the coconut crab, especially when they're this big. But you know what? That's their problem, man. That's not your problem. If you like the size of these huge, tree-climbing crabs, you go right ahead and like them. We support it. Number 2. World's biggest bird. I can't say definitively which bird is the biggest in the world. I'm just not educated enough on that to know one way or another. But I can make assumptions, and believe me, I'm about to do so. Because if you ask me, the Peru condor is the largest bird in the world. No, I will not provide evidence. Okay, I will provide some evidence in the form of this video captured in a Peruvian national park. The clip shows this huge bird demonstrating its size to a crowd of stunned locals. And as you can see, it's absolutely one of the largest birds in the world. The Andean condor, which is what the Peru condor is more commonly known as, has a wingspan that can reach up to 10.5 feet, making it the largest flying bird in the world by wingspan. These birds are built for soaring, often gliding for hours without flapping their wings as they ride thermal air currents high above the Andes. Despite their massive size, they are scavengers, feeding primarily on carrion, which plays a crucial role in maintaining the ecosystem by cleaning up dead animals. Their bald heads, while not the most glamorous feature, are an adaptation that helps them stay clean while feeding on carcasses. Andean condors are also deeply significant in South American culture, often symbolizing power, freedom, and the connection between the heavens and the earth. Unfortunately, their populations are declining due to habitat loss and poisoning, making conservation efforts critical to their survival. Seeing one in the wild is a rare and awe-inspiring experience, a reminder of the majesty of nature. I mean, just take a look at the sheer scale of those wings. It's not exactly a bird you want to mess with, is it? Well, unless you're an idiot. In that case, you'll probably mistake the wings for an invitation. So no, I don't know if it's the world's biggest bird, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it is. And who's going to stop me? The American Society of Birds? Actually, if they exist, they probably have some serious birds of prey on their side. So let's not anger them, shall we? Number 1. African rock python. Those of you who have a strong fear of snakes, look away now. Those of you who are still with us, I hope you enjoy what we have in store, because yes, you're about to see the animal some experts have described as the largest snake in Africa, the African rock python. The footage shows a huge African rock python climbing a tree in Welgevonden Game Reserve in South Africa. It's actually really impressive to see an animal with no arms or legs managing to climb an entire tree with minimal to no difficulty. Or, if you are scared of snakes, it's terrifying. But either way, an animal this big climbing a tree? Well, that's surely one of those once-in-a-lifetime kinds of things. African rock pythons are known to grow up to 20 feet long and can weigh over 200 pounds, making their agility even more astonishing. Their muscular bodies allow them to grip tightly onto tree trunks and branches, using a combination of strength and flexibility to ascend. This climbing ability is not just for show. It helps them hunt birds, monkeys, and other prey that might think they're safe in the treetops. They are also ambush predators, often lying in wait for hours before striking with incredible speed and precision. Their ability to adapt to different environments, from savannas to forests, makes them one of the most versatile snake species in Africa. While they are non-venomous, their powerful constriction can subdue prey much larger than themselves, including antelope and even crocodiles. Watching one climb a tree is a reminder of just how resourceful and formidable these snakes truly are. No, you're probably not going to see this thing happening in the rural Midwest of America. The African rock python is a fearsome animal and a mighty predator, but who'd have thought that it could also be one of the greatest tree climbers in the world? Not me. And I say this as someone who, as a child, once got 3 steps up a tree and cried because I couldn't get down. True story. But whoever said I wet my pants is lying. It was the tears. Which of these giant creatures did you find most fascinating? Let us know in the comments. Also, check out the other cool things appearing on the screen right now. See you next time.